and then she'll have enough time to speak. Before then, just have a couple org announcements for you. Just a few updates. Reminder on the requirements to join the resume bank. If you haven't met any of these yet, do it before the weekends because I'm going to go through this weekend and pull that and verify that you've met those requirements to start our resume bank. And once that's done, I'll be emailing you if you've met the requirements, and I'll ask for your resume, and that will be put into our resume book that our sponsors are going to get. Does anybody have any questions on the resume bank process or how it works, or any questions about any of the requirements that are behind me? I did make one modification, so you just have to attend one other event than a general body meeting. And then if you haven't met the outreach event yet, that's fine. We'll just have it pending. We're going to send out more information on upcoming outreach events shortly. There are a lot coming up. Does that kind of help clarify any resume bank questions that are out there? Okay, cool. Oh, are we? Oh, we are live. Awesome. Slack membership. I still have a few people that have approached me saying that they're not on Slack. It's a huge benefit for you if you are on Slack. It's going to be our best way of getting in communication with you, and we send out a lot of really awesome things. The one specific part I wanted to note is be sure that you're checking out the channels that are on the other side. So when you join, it'll just put you into general if you're a new member, but you can see that I'm in a lot more than that. So the way that you add that is just by clicking the little plus arrow next to channels. And then there's one space on if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, grad student. If you want cute therapy, which is dog pictures, or the one I really wanted to highlight was career opportunities, which was in that letter that got their email that got sent out earlier this week. We have a lot of companies that'll be sending us information about their info sessions or their recruitment on campus. And then you guys get firsthand access to that. So make sure that you're joining career opportunities. Does anybody have questions about that? Okay, cool. And then the newsletter, that's our secondary form of communication with you, but it's just as helpful. And everything is very clear in there. And it's easy for you to go back and search by what week it was. And it has a ton of information in there. So be sure that you're reading the newsletter and that you're on the newsletter. If you are not currently on the newsletter, you're going to go talk to Rachel after this because she will get you added right away. Is anybody not on the newsletter? Okay, yeah. So make sure that you pop in and talk to Rachel after the fact and she can get you added in. And then after this, if you are attending conference, there's a Q&A session. This is not the mandatory meeting. This is just for any clarifying questions. If you've never been to conference before and you want to stay and learn just a little bit about what it's going to look like when the bus is leaving, all the information along those lines. If you're not able to make the meeting per usual, I'll be sending out those notes in #WE19. If you are not on WE19 channel, please come talk to me immediately so that we can make sure that we have you on our list of attendees and make sure that we can confirm that. This is another thing where we're going to be going through and checking the requirements soon. So be expecting a lot of conference information heading your way. But if you can stay for the Q&A, we'll make it super quick. But I recommend staying if you're able to. And that's the end of my update. So I'll tell you what I'm going to introduce our guest speaker.
Here from the staff management department, she'll tell you about herself. So she is going to be speaking about self-care and mental health. Give her a round of applause.
So we're just going to go ahead and get this set up so you guys can chat for just a minute.
I do. Yep, I have my flash drive.
Oh, perfect. Rachel can do that.
Also, you guys,
will you help me up yours? I'm like, yeah. I got it. Oh, perfect.
No. All I can see is.
Okay. There you go. Yeah, of course. And then if anybody needs water, I know it's been a long day. You might not have water, but we have cups and there's a water spout back here. Okay. But
Yeah. No, I'm like really excited.
I've been doing better than last year. That's fair. But I usually do
Right,
this
have you
in the shower wash my hair and then
I told you, like, we have a general idea what we're gonna do for this project. I mean, I had already.
Did you guys get it for
Yeah, we did. We haven't set up with Brandy.
Yeah, I made us do most of the work like Thursday, but no one wanted to do it. I can tell like that. Kind of just
I've done that before. I died at party and I came out. That's what this has. That's what
Okay, I am ready, so we will start, and I'm going to have you begin. When I start, everyone what is good? Good. What we do every single day at the beginning of class is we share with one another something good about our day today. So not yesterday or last week, but right now, today, if there's something good, then you share it. And what I challenge my students to do is, even if you have a really bad day, let's walk through right now. There's something good, right? Like, you cannot feel sad about that. So go ahead and share with somebody sitting next to you or across the table, or you can shout it across the room. I don't care. Something good about your amazing Wednesday today. What's good?
today. I had my first time exam. That went really well. I know I got the one because I calculated it, and I didn't have a calculator because I only had my folder. But the good thing was when I was in first, like I got my speech down. Like it was so good. Like oh my god, it made me really happy. Like I haven't hit my luck yet. Don't talk out. What is my god? I actually don't have that today. Like, going on the strain of a little less stress because last week was really hectic. I was doing assignments at 1:30. That was not a good time. That's fine.
Also found out that some of the options that are not in Twitter, you can use for like the meal slides that are probably themselves, but actually like
It's the volunteers to share. The rest of us, my goodness. Oh, I love that. Volunteer right away. Tell me your experience. From the career fair. So it really did work. Okay, very nice. And can I ask what the position's for? That's exciting. Okay, and you know, every interview you go on is such a great learning experience. So even if you don't get it, we're going to send good energy your way, though. Hopefully you do. But even if you don't, remember that. It's a great experience. You know what to expect. Awesome. So good. Thank you. And thank you for sharing her good. Now, what's your tip? Yeah, there you go.
It's her first SWE meeting, and she can finally read one.
I've had public for 6 semesters. My first semester.
Wow. Okay. Yes. I saw some long How exciting. Well, good. Aren't you trying to stop and miss all the other ones? But you're focusing on the positive. And that's exactly what it's about. Very nice. And I can see that you are welcomed with open arms. All right. How about over here? What's good? Thank you. I got a new friend. Who's your new friend? Ava in the corner. Ava, right? Ava, hi Ava. How's it going? Okay. Hey, I'll take okay. I will take okay. You're fine. Are you a little sick?
I think it's a really awesome thing. I'm not joking. I'm Michigan, so it's my first time.
Hey.
Up here, and I think for like air and new plants.
Yes. Where are you from?
The Boston area.
Okay, so this is a whole new world for you. Welcome. Other than that, how's everything going? Good. Okay, good. Very nice. Thank you. And I know that you all have so many other amazing things that you shared and to tell the rest of us. And I would like to encourage you to continue to do that because our brains as human beings are not set up that way. As humans, we are actually programmed to focus on the negative because we need to stay safe. And so when you've probably noticed when you're having a good day, going along, everything's fine, and then something negative happens. And all of a sudden your day is shot. And that's where you put your energy because you think, oh, this kind of thing, these kind of things always happen to me. These type of, crazy issues seem to come my way and it steals your energy from everything else good that has happened. And you really have to retrain your brain. It's really part of that fight or flight mode that we are trained to go into. And when you focus on the negative, that's where your energy will go, and that is what you will cultivate. That's what you will grow. When you focus on the positive, and that's where you put your energy, that's what you will cultivate, and that's what will grow. And it's a very easy concept to understand, but I will tell you, it is very, very hard to practice, and it takes a lot of years. And that doesn't mean you still don't have bad days, but that you're able to kind of bring yourself out of them a little bit as time goes along, because you really are rewiring the way that your brain is set up. So try to practice that. Try to focus on the positive. And you can always take my class. Right now I'm teaching Stress Management Tools 2. It's SWE 349. It's social behavioral credit. We're under the School of Social Work and Integrated Health Initiatives. But I have students from every single major, literally every single major. Chemical engineers, biomedical engineers, nursing, marketing, any type of business. So come take even if it's not mine, one of our classes. I think right now we have 27 classes on campus between all of our different courses. There are a few other courses. So it's a great way just to come chill. We say what's good. We meditate every class. Today we colored and told jokes. It was delightful. And so it's a nice little reprieve because I know a lot of you are maxed out. I was just talking to Heather here and she told me everything that she does. And it was like she was Superwoman. I know that you are pulled in so many different directions. So you have to be able to do what you can to help manage that stress. So this is my family. I have 4 kids and a husband. And I am proud to say that my oldest son is a freshman here right now, living in Tooker. He's a mechanical engineering major. And so, of course, I was incredibly excited. Anybody know him? You do, Aiden? Yeah. I gave birth to him. Isn't that crazy? Actually, he walked me over here. I'm like, come to my last class and walk me over. How do you know him? Oh, are you from Higley? I teach at Williamsville. Yes. Okay, cool. So these lovely ladies went to high school with my son. It's a small world. And like I said, some of you may have seen him around as well. But like I was just saying, I also teach high school. I've been a high school English teacher for 15 years. So at the end of my school day on Mondays and Wednesdays, I run to my car and jump in and I drive at very safe speed to usually the normal garage if I can find a parking spot. And then I run to my 305 class and I have a 305 class and then a 450? 435 class to 550. And, I love it. But of course, just like all of us, we are stretched thin and I am stretched thin and I have to find ways to somehow find balance and not completely lose my mind, even though sometimes I do a little bit and that is normal. We all do that. We are our own loud meltdown here or there and we pick ourselves up and we move on. So one thing that we focus on in stress management, when we're talking about mental health, is mindfulness. How many of you have heard that term before? Okay, good. It's starting to become a buzzword now. A lot of people are becoming familiar with it, and I think it's starting to become something that we recognize as a necessity because we are so distracted. We're so distracted, and I am no different. Our phones, technology, school, work, clubs, everything that you have going on, it takes our mind away from what we're doing. And we are not present. Even though you're here, I guarantee a lot of you are thinking about something entirely different. That paper that you have to write, the class that you have to be at 7:30 tomorrow morning, right? All of those things that you are thinking about. And you are everywhere else except for right here, right now. In fact, a study out of Harvard has shown that we are lost in thought 47% of the time. So about half of our waking hours, so this isn't even considering the fact that we are asleep, half of our waking hours or more, we're thinking about something else than the present. That same Harvard study shows that when we are present, when our mind is simply focused on the task that we have at hand, what we're doing in the moment right now, that we are far happier because we're not distracted by everything else. We also then have the ability to identify some emotions that we may be feeling. If you're sitting here and you're starting to realize that you have a lot of other things that you have to do, and you think to yourself, okay, bring myself back to the present. Why am I worried about this? Why am I feeling this way? Maybe you will be able to identify perhaps some negative emotions like anxiety, fear, stress, guilt, resentment, any of those negative emotions that happen to come up. So we want to be present so we can increase our happiness. And our bodies and our brains, we know, are completely connected. So there are several different ways for us to do it. How can we be present, especially when we have so much going on? How's it going? What's good? No! You're here, right?
I made it.
You made it. That is what's good. Very nice. So we have to train our brain. Like I said, our brains are not built as human beings to focus on the positive. We want to protect ourselves, and so our attention instinctually goes to the negative when we feel threatened and that something negative happens. So I want to very quickly talk about how our brains work. There are 3 parts of our brain, and I guarantee you that most of you already know all about this. What's the reptilian portion of our brain? That is the oldest part of our brain. It is fully developed when we are born. Who knows what that is responsible for? Say it. Well, I don't know. I didn't hear you. Emotion. Whoa, you're close. That's the middle part. That's the limbic part.
Memory?
You're all very, very close. The reptilian portion of our brain is truly simply breathing and pooping. That's what I say. It's those basic bodily functions that we need to stay alive. Eating, pooping, and sleeping. If you've ever been around a newborn, you know that is all that they do. That is it. Because that's really all that they can do, and cry. They cry a lot. The limbic portion of our brain is responsible for what? You said it earlier. I think so, right? It wasn't you? Emotions. I knew it was somewhere over here. Emotions. The limbic portion of our brain is fully developed by the time we go through puberty. That is why so many teenagers and adolescents, they say, are so emotional because they feel fully. They have 100% of that limbic portion of their brain developed, so they feel every emotion fully. There is nothing that they don't feel. However, because the neocortex isn't developed, they don't know what to do with those emotions and are therefore ruled by them. What does the neocortex do? What is it responsible for? Rationale, decisions. What else? Thought, critical thought. Yes, consequences of actions. And that is not developed until you're between the ages of about 22 to 25. For females, it's closer to 22. Males, it's closer to 25. And believe it or not, between the ages of about 11 or the onset of puberty and 22 are considered adolescents. So I have a feeling most of you technically, scientifically, would still be considered adolescents. And I know you're thinking, no way, I'm not. I'm a young adult. But a lot of you would be considered adolescents because your brain is still developing. But you're close. You're getting there. I always tell my students, if you're under 25, you can just blame your bad decisions on the fact that your brain is not fully developed. After that, no excuse. There's no excuse. Then you have to take ownership. When you're vortex, developed. Sorry. But when we are mindful, so when we are present and in the moment, what happens is all three parts of our brain are talking to each other. They are working together because we're able to see things right now as they are, and they're talking. We want all three parts of our brain to work together. We need those basic bodily functions. We need emotions. We need critical thought. And when we are in the present, and when we are resting, when we are happy, when we feel good, when we are at peace, they're all talking, and that's something that is called parasympathetic mode. We have a parasympathetic nervous system. It's called the PSNS, and that is activated when everything is copacetic and everything's good and it's working well. We want to spend about 75% of our day there, and I'm talking where we don't feel like we are stressed to the max. But doesn't mean you can't feel stress, but what it means is that the stress or anxiety or worry is taking over. 75% of our day. That is the goal. So if you feel stressed about 90% of your day, then that means that what you are doing to your body is you are compromising your immune system, you're compromising your mental health, you're compromising your digestive system. All of those elements of your health are compromised because you are so incredibly stressed. When we're in sympathetic mode, that's that fight or flight. Just like I said, our brains as human beings, we want to detect danger. We want to keep ourselves safe. The good news is, though, now, in modern times, we are not running from lions or tigers or bears. Oh my, thank you. I always, when nobody does that, and so we don't have to be in sympathetic mode all the time. We don't have to activate that SNS because we're not being threatened. However, when our brain senses stress or something wrong, we take that as a threat. We're scared. That is a potential threat. We go into fight, flight, or freeze. That's where anxiety comes in, depression. That's where we start to shut down, withdraw, self-sabotage, and we completely ruin our immune system, and we get sick, and everything gets to us, and we have a hard time getting out of bed. So we want to stay and keep our body in parasympathetic mode as much as possible. It's okay to spend some time in sympathetic mode. Sometimes we need it. Sometimes we know we need to survive. You've heard of people getting in car accidents and being able to lift a vehicle because their adrenaline is going, because they're in that fight or flight mode. And so there are times where we need that. Sometimes it could perhaps drive us to do something positive. But we want to hopefully keep ourselves in parasympathetic mode most of the time. So when we project, that adds stress. That's the worry. And I am a worrier. My kids make me laugh because my daughters will say to me, "Oh, you need to stop. You're giving me anxiety." And then they'll say, "Mom, that sounds like you. Stop. You're giving me anxiety." So I have to be careful of what I say, but I am somebody who is innately anxious. My mother has massive anxiety. My grandmother was hospitalized for 2 years because of her mental health. And so we come from a long line of worriers. And I think innately we all are, especially when you have so much at stake. And I think that's part of it. You have so much at stake. There's so much pressure. You want to do well. You want to be successful. You want to have a career that you enjoy. You want to get that job. And so we worry. We project. And of course, then we are activating that SNS, our sympathetic nervous system, where we are stressed out and everything is compromised. This is the story of my life. Can anybody relate?
Yes.
Thank you for the courtesy laugh over there. It is, and there are so many things that we make up in our head, and usually everything turns out all right.
And I try to tell myself as much as possible, worrying is not going to do anything. It's not going to fix anything. It's not going to make anything happen, and nothing's going to change. I'm not changing anything by freaking out mentally about something. Nothing, except for harming myself. Hey, how's it going?
Great, I'm sorry.
No, don't be sorry. You're here. Looks great. Looks good. Not much. You two need this class. You need this. Nothing's good about your. I bet you can find one thing. We'll come. I put you on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, at first I thought you said your boyfriend is cute, dog, but then I it has a cute dog, and there's something in there. I know, right? That is true. Oh, I love it. Okay, and so when you hear the word projection, we're talking about being anxious about what's going to happen in the future. Rumination. That's when we think about the past. And rumination, really, when we're looking in the past, that can be any number of things. It can be regret of the past. It can be wishing things were like they used to be. You know, it can be wishing that you could have changed something that you did or said, any of those things. And all of those cause a level of depression. And of course, we have to be willing to do that. I love that. Forgiveness means giving up all hope for a better past. If you don't know who Lily Tomlin is, she is.
Yes.
Oh, she's the voice of Miss Frizzle on Magic School Bus.
No.
I'm not even kidding.
I didn't know that. Now I'm going to have to go back and watch the Magic School Bus. Okay, she's great. I love that. You must do trivia. Okay, so my perspective when I'm going to just go through a few, just I want to make sure that I get to what's important. My perspective when it comes to stress management is doing. So instead of me just sitting and talking to my students for an hour and 15 minutes every class, they do. That's why we meditate. That's why we focus on what's good. That's why we color. That's why we tell jokes. That's why we do yoga stretches. That's why we play with essential oils and aromatherapy, because I want you to do. So if you're like me, I want to know what I can do. It's like some lady talking to you about, stress management. What can you do? And just because maybe you are sitting here going, I have no stress, Buffy, no stress, I'm so chillest person ever. And that's wonderful. That means you're probably practicing some of those things. But if you're not the chillest person ever, you need a little help like the rest of us, because you're human and you are normal, and that is perfectly fine. And don't be afraid to ask for help and practice those things. So what can we do? And I know those are small, but don't worry, because they will get bigger. According to experts in positive psychology, there are 5 secrets that we can do every day that are super, super simple and that will actually improve our existence in this world, make us happier, and reduce the effects of stress. Notice I didn't say get rid of stress, because you will very likely all still have many stressors in your life. How you handle them, that is the difference. How you respond to them, how you are proactive, that is what will be different, because you will always have stress. Our classes aren't called stress elimination. It's not possible. It's normal. Stress is a normal part of life. But there are steps you can take that are very simple. And it's important to understand the simplicity of them. I'm not telling you that you have to move to Nepal and go to a monastery and live for several months with the monks and meditate in order to live a happy, stress-free life. There are ways that you can do that now and that are very, very simple. So here are the top 5 things that you can do that have been proven. Scientists, once again, at Harvard have done a lot of research on this. Gratitude. Writing down 3 things every day that you are thankful for. They even sell gratitude journals that are specifically for that. The first thing in the morning when you wake up, you write down 3 things that you are thankful for. I do this, but my gratitude journal is a steno pad. Okay, I'm not going to buy a special gratitude journal. I just have my 39-cent little notebook that I write what I'm thankful for every single morning, because then once again, where you put your energy and focus, that is what you will grow. And that is what will expand in your life. Number 2, journaling. That feels like a lost art sometimes because we are so busy and distracted, and now we have technology. A lot of us, when we have to write with a paper and pen, it feels a little bit foreign. We're not used to it. But journaling for 2 minutes a day, 2 minutes, that's it, about a positive experience that you had can boost your happiness. The third thing, exercise. And notice it says 15 minutes of mindful cardio activity. That can even be walking. 15 minutes. Cardiovascular, not an hour, not 45 minutes, not even a half hour, but 15 minutes. We're talking about happiness here. We know that, of course, with exercise, we may need to exercise a little bit more for maximum physical benefits. But this is a great place to start. The fourth thing, meditation, formal breathing. A lot of people don't understand that meditation is simply formal breathing, paying attention to your breaths, your breathing, making sure you're in a position either sitting up or lying on your back where your lungs can fully expand and contract. Maybe counting those breaths or paying attention to them as you keep yourself in the present. And the last thing is engaging in random acts of kindness, intentional, where you have said, okay, today when I get to school, I am going to pick up 17 pieces of trash. Or today, when I go to the store, I'm going to gather all of the carts in the parking lot and I'm going to put them back in the cart holder. Random acts of kindness. I know it sounds a little counterintuitive because random, but they should be intentional. Things that you wouldn't normally do and that you have planned out a little bit. So we are going to start right now. You all have some lovely coloring sheets on your table. Do you all have something to write with, hopefully? Maybe, possibly. Okay. So we're not going to color right now, but I encourage you to do so. I thought this would be perfect. Coloring sheets. Put your coloring sheet and I have extra pens if you need them, I think. Does anyone need a pen? All right, who needs a writing utensil? I have extras. So if you can't see up there, the very first thing I want you to do is start with your gratitudes. 3 things: people, emotions, opportunities. Hi, how's it going? Good. What's good? It's all good. That's right. 3 things that you're feeling thankful for on this beautiful day. 3 things in your life. Anything. And by the way, you can write down many more. 3 is the minimum. And sometimes when we think of gratitude, we think they have to be something mind-blowing. I'm talking, we have access to clean water. We have access to technology. We have access to food. That is something that we should all be incredibly thankful for. Indoor plumbing, hot water. It doesn't have to be anything mind-blowing. but simply things that you are grateful for. And if those types of things didn't come to your mind, that's okay. And that's something that practicing those gratitudes can do. It can help you start to realize the immense blessings you have in your life. You have so many blessings, so many things to be thankful for. Those are things that you can focus on. So then I'm going to set my timer for 2 minutes. And after that, and we're going to start right now, just so we can do it, I want you to journal for 2 minutes about a positive experience you've had recently. Just start writing, just a free write. So remember, this was number 2, positive experience. Getting an interview. So when it says journal, describe it. Explain how you felt. What happened? How was it positive? What lasting impact did it have? Okay, so of course you can continue this outside of this, but hopefully recounting something that was positive brings back those emotions and those positive feelings, which can be great. Reminiscing about wonderful experiences, I'm sure you all know, is something incredibly powerful for our mental well-being. Now, the third thing was exercise. Don't worry, I am not going to make you exercise. And I had a little video for you. I'm going to skip over it, though. It's about the dangers of sitting and truly how much pressure we end up putting on our neck and our back when we're sitting. And so, of course, that being said, go ahead and stand up for you. We'll do a couple of quick stretches. There you go. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with a shoulder stretch. Just don't hurt anything. Don't pull anything. Gently stretch. Shoulder, very nice. Switch. Oh, yes. I have a sloucher too. I heard somebody say slouching. Okay. I'm a teacher and a mom. I can always hear. Who is this? Now let's go ahead and do a back stretch. Don't hyperextend it too much. Just get it nice to where it feels comfortable. And then if you would like to bend forward, you can. You don't have to. Oh, just hopefully nobody's behind me. I have Spanx on, so I'm okay. Oh, there. Okay. Oh, didn't that feel good? Okay. And I'm going to finish, but by the way, and I'll tell my students in my classes this as well, feel free to stand if it feels better to stand. I never force my students to sit. You can always stand. I love standing up. I rarely sit down. Very quickly, with exercise and sitting, one thing that you can do, and that is very, very important, when you're sitting at a desk or computer for more than 30 minutes, give yourself a break. Stand up and walk around for a couple of minutes. Your body needs it and your brain needs it. So make sure that you're not spending more than a half hour in the same position. It's hard. I know it's difficult. Sometimes I don't even follow my own advice when I know how detrimental it is to our physical health. It's not good for your spine. It's not good for your neck. It's not good for your lungs. So get up and just move around just for a minute or two. Give yourself a little brain break and body break. We'll skip the biceps. Okay, meditation. I'm going to show you a quick video on meditation because people will never believe me when I tell them how life-changing meditation is, even from a medical viewpoint. They're like, Buffy, you're crazy. There's no way. But I can tell you this, the science behind meditation, and it is gaining every single day, is incredibly, where'd this go? Okay, I'm gonna pull. I embedded this earlier. What happened? Maybe not. Let me go back. Okay. No, you know what? I embedded that video earlier, and for some reason it's not. Yeah.
Not too bad.
I know. I'm like, and I just recently figured out how to embed videos in a PowerPoint, so I felt very, very proud. No, yeah. Okay. And that is one thing that I will leave you with. And then while we're doing that, I want you to think of some random acts of kindness that you can do over the next few days. With random acts of kindness, studies show that if you do them for 21 days consecutively, one per day, I'm talking gathering the grocery carts, holding the door open for a stranger or strangers for a few minutes, once a day. And I know a lot of you are going, hey, I already do that type of stuff, which is amazing. And keep doing it. Do more. Go above and beyond. Do more. Awesome. Thank you. Do any of you watch any of these videos on ASAP Science? They're amazing. They're amazing. It is like a rabbit hole of videos. Once you start, you can't stop. You're good. Yeah. So, like I said, I want you to think of 3 things, one thing per day over the next 3 days. Write that in your journal. So what you just journaled about, read that. Write a page of 3 things that you can do over the next 3 days to spread some kindness, random acts of kindness.
Years, people have practiced meditation for spiritual, emotional, and scientific. How exactly does meditating affect your body? Does it really do anything? It all starts in the brain. During meditation, brain scans see increased activity for thousands of years.
Okay, so I'll show you this very quickly, and then you can get back to your acts of kindness.
People have practiced meditation for spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being. But from a scientific perspective, how exactly does meditating affect your body? Does it really do anything? It all starts in the brain. During meditation, brain scans see increased activity in regions directly correlated with decreased anxiety and depression, along with increased pain tolerance. The default mode network in particular is activated when one's mind is at rest and not focusing on the outside world, and has been found to improve memory, self-awareness, and goal setting. Want to be more caring to your friends and family? When scientists compared the brains of Buddhist monks to new meditators, they found the region of the brain associated with empathy to be much more pronounced in the monks. It also literally changes your brain waves, and we can measure these frequencies. Meditators have higher levels of alpha waves, which have been shown to reduce feelings of negative mood, tension, sadness, and anger. And if that wasn't enough, it also physically changes our brain shape and size. Studies found that after 8 weeks of a meditation program, gray matter was more dense in areas associated with learning, memory processing, and emotion regulation. And yet the amygdala, which deals with stress, blood pressure, and fear, had decreased gray matter. When we look at the entire body, not only do we see decreased blood pressure, but it can also increase the variability of your heart rate. And while this may sound harmful, it actually plays a critical role in properly transporting oxygen and carbon dioxide throughout your body. Think you're getting sick? In a study where both meditators and non-meditators were given the flu virus, meditators were able to produce a greater number of antibodies and had increased immune function. If we go a little deeper, we can even see changes on a cellular level. Your chromosomes have protective protein complexes called telomeres, which help reduce damage to your DNA and lower cell death. And a shortened telomere length has been linked to several diseases such as cardiovascular disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and cancer. Amazingly, when cancer survivors completed a meditation program, their bodies showed significant increases in telomere length. It's believed that psychological intervention, particularly decreasing stress, has a direct effect on the enzyme telomerase, which has been shown to counteract shortening by adding DNA to the shrinking telomeres. Of course, meditation is not a substitute for other medical advice or a healthy lifestyle. We don't want you leaving this video thinking it will cure cancer. But much like hitting the gym can grow your muscles and increase your overall health, it seems that meditation may be a way of working out your brain with extra health benefits. And since your brain controls, well, all of you, why not relax and say every once in a while? And if you like work,
I'm gonna say ASAP Science. It's one of my favorite channels. It has just crazy, scientific evidence behind all different kinds of things. Some of them are a little bit inappropriate, but incredibly intriguing. So I love that video because it's aesthetically pleasing, first of all, but because it breaks it down very simply. It truly has the ability to change your brain. And even just starting with a few minutes of meditation every day. Anybody in here meditate currently? Oh, I love you. Oh, okay, very nice. Why do you meditate? Emily?
It is a stress reliever, so it makes you get yourself sad for the summer.
It's crazy. Thank you. You said it. I'm done. I love it. Why do you meditate? Very nice. Spiritual. And learning to connect with yourself. Yes. Why do you meditate?
I'm really religious and I use it as like a prayer outlet because it makes for the best prayers.
And that's something I always tell my students as well, that if you pray on a regular basis, prayer is a wonderful form of meditation. It's like they can do it in class.
Talking to yourself, but in a constructive way.
I love that. Very nice. And meditation is incredibly simple. Like I said, if you don't meditate or you've never tried it, there are so many wonderful ways for you to incorporate meditation in your life, starting with just breathing. So we're going to end with this. I'm going to leave you with a quick little breathing exercise. This is one of my favorite breathing exercises. It's called the 4-7-8 breath. Some of you may be familiar with it. It's very simple, but this has been shown to de-escalate your central nervous system when you are stressed. I use this very often when I'm driving, and I start to do this. I use breath to help me gain a little bit more perspective and being mindful, because we all have those feelings. Before a presentation that I may be nervous about, I wasn't nervous coming in here because I felt comfortable with, for some reason, with this topic, but anything else that I may be feeling nervous about. So presentations or job interviews or internship interviews. It is a wonderful way just to take a few minutes where nobody will ever even know that you are doing this and breathe. So make sure your back is nice and straight, and you can stay seated or you can even stand up if you would like, whatever feels good to you. But of course, you always want to make sure that your spine is at a 90-degree angle. You want to give your lungs a beautiful amount of room to expand and contract. And what the 4-7-8 breath is simply breathing in for 4 seconds, holding it for 7 seconds, and then pretending like you are pushing all of the air out of a balloon as you breathe out for 8 seconds. That's all it is. And you do that a few times over and over again, and you start to feel a little bit calmer when you perhaps are feeling somewhat agitated. So go ahead, now we're just going to take a few breaths. Pay attention to your breathing. Right now, is it shallow? Are you feeling like you can get some good breaths? Just pay attention. Normal breathing in and out. And then in a few seconds, I'm going to have you start the 4, 7, 8 breath. Okay, so I will count down. And 3, 2, 1. Breathe in for 4 seconds. 2, 3, 4. Hold it for 7 seconds. 4, 5, 6, 7. No, pretend like you're getting all of that air out of a balloon for 8 seconds. 4, 6, 7, 8. And don't be afraid to go. That's what I do. Blow it out. It's okay. We all know you breathe. That's perfectly fine. Let's do it one more time. Go ahead and pay attention to your breaths for a few minutes. Maybe the cool air coming in your nose, warm air leaving your mouth. And then in 3, I'll count down by 3, and then we'll go back up. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. Breathe in for 4 seconds. 3, 4. Hold for 7 seconds. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And get it out for 8 seconds. Yeah, thank you. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, because I appreciate that. You did what I asked. You rock. Thank you. All right, perfect. And that's the 4, 7, 8 breath. So try those 5 things. Try to be mindful. One of the greatest things that I found that has helped me is putting my phone away as much as I possibly can. I know it's hard to do, and that's a whole other lesson and lecture, but it does cause a lot of anxiety and stress. There's some really direct and positive, correlations between the rise of depression and anxiety in adolescents and smartphones. So please make sure that you're disconnecting when you can. Be present, be focused, love the people around you, focus on the positive. Yes, Heather.
What, you said you teach a class on campus?
I do,
What
yeah.
is your class?
So it's Stress Management Tools 2. It's a 349 class.
What's like the letter?
That's a great question. I don't have that memorized. So it's SWU 349. I don't know the session though. Right, as far it ends one class right now ends with 8, the other one ends with 9. SWU 349 is Stress Management Tools 2. However, there's no prerequisite. So just because it's a 2 class, I have freshmen in that class. There's no prerequisite for Stress 2. And then Stress Management Tools 1 is SWU 250. And if you want a recommendation of an amazing professor for next semester, Patricia Harris, Harris, she's one of my best friends. She is amazing and you would love her. Jamie Valderrama, if you ever have, Chantal, is that how you? Okay, she is just amazing. An amazing friend and an amazing person. She is actually the head of the Integrative Health Initiative here at ASU, and she is sunshine in a person. Every time I see her, I just feel happy. She just radiates. She's one of those people who radiates happiness and sunshine. She's the perfect person to be the head of our department. So she's amazing. If you want any other recommendations, of course, I'm going to say that all of our professors are amazing. We have a wonderful department, Estefano. If you take it online, we have great online professors as well. So, take advantage of the resources ASU has to offer you as well. You have so many resources available to you. You have meditation rooms. You have the counseling center available to you. There are meditation rooms in the MU. My son, the other day, he had to go on a scavenger hunt, and they said, go to a quiet place. He's like, guess where I went, Mom? And I said, the meditation room is the MU. He's like, no way. So, yeah, they're prayer rooms or meditation rooms. You have to be quiet there. So if you need a little peace amidst the chaos of thousands and thousands of people, go there. But I'm available for questions. So let me know, I'll say, and if you have any questions, if there's anything that I can do, you have been wonderful. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. You got it. Got it. Have a great night.